What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my way too early 2021-2022 NBA predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and these probably will be not accurate at all, but I need to wait till free agency kind of settled. There's still moves that could happen. Damian Lillard could still get traded. Bradley Beal could still get traded. But as of right now, I think the stand-ins are set, and I think you can kind of predict where teams would be right now. Maybe a few big moves to make a big difference, like Ben Simmons, maybe, or Bradley Beal. But I think we're good for now. I think all the Kawhi stayed. I mean, I think we can finally make these predictions. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get into it. To start it off, we're going to be doing the Eastern Conference. Here we got the Nets getting the 1 seed. All right, the Nets. If the Nets were healthy last season, the Nets would have been the 1 seed. They probably would have made the finals. Kevin Durant was a few centimeters from getting that game-winning shot. But the Nets overall, if they're healthy, I think they'll easily get the 1 seed. And then 2, we got the reigning champs, Bucks. I think the Nets have more star power, and I don't think Giannis can carry another season for the Bucks. But overall, I think the Bucks definitely deserve to be up there. And then third, we got the 76ers. With Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is going to be a finals MVP contender every single year. He's a paint monster. He can shoot and he can play defense pretty good. Sixers are a good defensive team, and they got some good offensive pieces like Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, and of course Joel Embiid. So I think they will be up there. And then for the Hawks have incredible teamwork. Now they don't really have a superstar. I wouldn't consider Trae Young a superstar, but he's good. Yet, I mean, John Collins could definitely, and of course Trae Young could. Who knows? Maybe DeAndre Hunter and Kevin Huerter could be, but they have fantastic teamwork, great chemistry. They work like a team, and that's why they do so well. And I think they will be a 4 seed. 5 seed, I think the Heat. They added Kyle Lowry. They kept most of their team. Like they kept Victor Oladipo. So they kept some guys, but definitely the Heat need to be mentioned because they got a good team. And then the Celtics at the 6 seed. You could argue the Celtics could be lower. You could argue the Celtics could be higher. I could see the Celtics being as high as a 3 seed. I could see them being as low as a 9 seed. But the Celtics, it all comes down if Tatum needs to be a superstar this year. Tatum needs to play like one, and he needs to be dropping 30, 40 a night. And the Celtics, if Tatum can average above 25, if Tatum and Brown can both average above 25, they're definitely making the playoffs because they have good role pieces. They have Schroeder. They have Al Horford. They have Robert Williams. They have Enes Kanter. They have Marcus Smart. So they got some good pieces, but they need Brown and Tatum to become superstars. And I think they can. I think they have the potential to. And I could see the Celtics being higher. I could see them being lower. It all comes down to Tatum and Brown. 7, we got the good old Chicago Bulls. Added DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo Ball. They already have Nikola Vucevic. Zach LaVine, of course, the face of that team. The Bulls may have some issues in the beginning of the year chemistry-wise, but I think by the end of the year, the Bulls will pick it up and they will make the playoffs. And final playoff spot, we get the Knicks. Don't think the Knicks did much. I mean, they brought some guys back. They brought Derrick Rose back. They brought Nerlens Noel back. They brought Julius Randle back. They added Evan Fournier. They added Miles McBride. So they added some pieces, not a major guy that some of us thought they could get, like Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, someone like that. But they didn't. But it's all right. Knicks are still a good team. I think they will drop, though I don't think they will be a 5 seed like last season or a 4 seed. They were 4 seed. I think they will be the 8 seed. 9, the Pacers. The Pacers are really, I think this is the year after the season the Pacers will start the rebuild. I mean, they just don't have it. They don't have enough. Sabonis is great. Great. And then they got Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner. So they got some decent players. I would like to see them trade for Ben Simmons, but I think the Pacers are going to start the rebuild, and I think they will trade Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon probably next offseason. 10, the Hornets. It's a good team. Like, you got LaMelo, you got Miles Bridges, you got Gordon Hayward, you got some good players, but they lost Malik Monk, and I just don't think they have enough. And I don't think LaMelo Ball's there yet. So I think 10, they will be a 10 seed. Raptors, they traded Lowry. They were bad last season, but they did keep Pascal Siakam. They drafted great player in Scotty Barnes, so I think the Raptors will be an 11 seed. The Wizards at 12, they lost Westbrook, but they still got Beal, and they got guys like Harrell, Kuzma, KCP, who are all serviceable, Davis Bertans. So they got some serviceable players around Beal, so I think they will be a 12 seed. The Cavaliers at 13, a young core. They brought in Evan Mobley. They got Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. So I think that it's a good team, young core. I just think they're not there yet. And then the 14 seed, we got the Pistons, newly acquired Cade Cunningham. If Killian Hayes can do well, I think they could be as high as an 11 seed. Just I don't think a rookie is going to make that much of a difference. Obviously, we all know Zion didn't make much of a difference record-wise to the Pelicans in his first year. I don't think Cade will either. I think he'll have good stats, but I certainly do not think he will make them a playoff team. And then the Magic, they got a lot of young talent. It's just that young talent needs time to develop. It's not going to develop in year one. They got Isaac. They got Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner. They got RJ Hampton. So they got young talent. They could be good in the future, but not now. Moving on to the Western Conference, we got the number 1 seed. We got the Lakers with their newly acquired Russell Westbrook. LeBron James and Anthony Davis hopefully will be healthy. So I think the Lakers, people will criticize their shooting, but I think they're fine. I mean, LeBron can shoot, AD can shoot. They did lose Andre Drummond, but LeBron can shoot, AD can shoot, and then they brought in Malik Monk and Chris Dunn, who can both shoot. So I think the Lakers will be good next season if they can stay healthy. Got the Nuggets at the 2 seed. This might be a little bit of a surprise, but I think healthy Jamal Murray with the reigning MVP, Michael Porter Jr. could be in for a big year. Aaron Gordon, definitely still a good player. They got Monty Morris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap's, I think, free agent, but they still got some good pieces. And then 3, the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going on a revenge tour. All right, Kawhi's coming back. He just signed a big contract. He wants that championship. So does Paul George. They have good pieces around him. They have Reggie Jackson. They have Terrence Mann. They have Serge Ibaka. So they have good pieces around Kawhi and Paul George. Just can they take that step? I think they can. 4, we got the Warriors. The Warriors did not make the playoffs last year, but I think Clay will motivate Curry to be better, and I think Clay will do well. They also got some good players around them, like Wiggins. They got Wiggins. They got James Wiseman, who could do well. I believe they still have Eric Pascal. I could be wrong. They still got Draymond Green, who's good. So the Warriors, they have a lot of talent, and I think they will be in the playoffs. And then we got the Suns dropping from the 2 seed to the 5 seed. I think the Suns were very lucky last season, as well as the Jazz. The Lakers were injured. The Warriors were injured. You had a lot of teams injured last season. I still think the Suns got a good team. They got Booker and Chris Paul, who are both great players. And then, of course, you got guys like DeAndre Ayton, Cam Payne, Jay Crowder. So they got a good core. I just think the 4 teams in front of them are better. And then the Jazz, the 6 seed, I don't think there's enough for the Jazz. They got Clarkson, they got Mitchell, and they got Conley. And then, of course, they got DPOY, the Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. I don't think it's enough. Mitchell could become a superstar. Gobert, he's a defensive superstar. Conley barely made the All-Star game, so I just don't think it's enough. They're still a playoff team, but I think they will be back where they were around 2 years ago. I certainly don't think they'll be the 1 seed. 7, the Mavericks, Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, still got a good team. I wish they added another superstar to complement to Luka, like Damian Lillard, like Kyle Lowry, like even Kemba Walker. So I wish they did that, but they didn't. But then again, Luka can't carry. We'll see how Kristaps does. I mean, if he'll even be on the team, Shanghai Sharks. But I mean, if Kristaps can bounce back pretty well, I think they will be higher. But the West is stacked, and I don't see them. I think a 7 is sufficient. Grizzlies at 8. I think the Grizzlies will be the 8 seed. They're a scary young team. I think John Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will be great next season. Traded Jonas Valanciunas, but they got a lot of pieces in return. I like what the Grizzlies have. And then I got the Blazers not making the playoffs. Now, this is a little surprising. I don't think the Blazers have enough. I don't think McCollum is a good enough assistant, as you could say, to Damian Lillard. I don't think Nurkic is good enough. I think Lillard needs a better court, and if the Blazers don't give him that, I don't think Dame's staying. All right, I would love to see the Blazers go out and get a guy like Bradley Beal next season, but I don't see it happening. I think Dame could be leaving after this season, but I think 9 seed, Dame carries them. McCollum's okay. Nurkic is okay. And then I forgot the Pelicans at 10. I think the Pelicans finally will be able to get there and up in the standings. Because they fired Steve Van Gundy, who wasn't a very good coach. Of course, they got Zion, they got Brandon Ingram, they lost Lonzo, but I think Zion and Ingram will be able to carry them. And then the Kings at 11 seed. I think the Kings, they're a very good team. All right, not a very good team, but they got very good players on that team. All right, specifically De'Aaron Fox, and then Buddy Hield is a great shooter. So Rashawn Holmes they brought back, who's an underrated center. The Kings, they got to be looked at. And Marvin Bagley, if he can stay healthy and just be serviceable, the Kings will be great. But I don't still think they're not a playoff team. Timberwolves at 12. I mean, they have Cat, they have D'Angelo Russell. They don't have enough. Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards will be good. I think the Timberwolves, I don't think they'll really improve from last year, other than maybe Edwards progressing. The Spurs lost DeMar DeRozan. They're not going to be good. The Spurs without DeMar DeRozan are not going to. They didn't even make the play-in tournament, I don't think, last season. But without DeMar DeRozan, they're not going anywhere. And then the Rockets, Jalen Green, Christian Wood, they got something to look forward to in the future. But right now, no. Thunder, same thing. They're for the future. And then we got the play-in tournament. I think starting off with the 7 and 8 seed Bulls and the Knicks, I think the Bulls win 97-95. So the Bulls will be taking the 8 seed. The Knicks will play the winner of the Pacers-Hornets. And I think the Hornets, as the 10 seed, will upset the 9 seed Pacers 112-106. And then in the 8, to battle for the 8 seed, I think Knicks versus Hornets. I think Knicks win 110-102. And then we got Mavericks, Trailblazers. I forgot to edit that. Oh, that's my bad. Okay. That should say Mavericks Grizzlies. But the outcome's the same. It's supposed to say Mavericks Grizzlies. The Mavericks beat the Grizzlies anyway, and then it's supposed to say Blazers Pelicans. Blazers win, and then Blazers Grizzlies win. Or no. Okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. All right. So, and then the Mavericks, Grizzlies, Blazers, Pelicans. That is the West. And then the East, Bulls, Knicks, Hornets, Pacers. And then we get into the playoffs, the first round, the Nets versus the Knicks. I got the Nets in 5. The Nets are very good, and I think this is a revenge tour for the Nets. I think KD will be healthy, Kyrie will be healthy, and Harden hopefully will do better in the playoffs. Give me the Nets in 5. Bucks, Bulls, I think this will be a good series, but Giannis is too good. Bucks in 6. And 76ers, Celtics. I'm going to go Celtics in 7. I could be biased because I am a Celtics fan, but you look at it, the 76ers can't win in the playoffs, all right? Other than Embiid, no one shows up in the playoffs for them, all right? Simmons can't, and other than Simmons, there's not a lot, all right? Seth Curry can drop 10, 15 points a game, get you 3-4 3-pointers. But I think the Celtics overall are the better team aside from Embiid. So I think I'm going to go Celtics in 7. Hawks, Heat, I'm going to go Hawks in 7. I know the Heat added Lowry, but come on, the Hawks, they work like a team, and when it comes to playoffs, the Hawks are good. And then on the Western Conference, we got Lakers, Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies are a young, scary team, so I think they will put up a fight, only get 2 games, though, and I think the Lakers will win in 6. Nuggets, Mavericks, I'm going to go Nuggets in 7. This could be a very underrated series because the Mavericks could be good. But I think overall, Jokic, MPJ, and Jamal Murray will carry the Nuggets over a win. Clippers Jazz, the rematch of last year. I think the Clippers will win once again. I think Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and the Jazz will put up a fight, but it won't be enough, and the Clippers will win. And then finally, the Warriors and the Suns. This will be a good series. Steph Curry versus Chris Paul, Klay Thompson versus Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton versus James Wiseman. This will be a great series, but I got to go Warriors in 7 just because I think Curry's he's better than Chris Paul. So that's, I think, what elevates them. And then we got the Nets in the second round. The second round of the playoffs, Nets versus Celtics. Gonna go the Nets in 7. I like the Celtics. I love my Celtics, but I think the Nets, they'll put up a fight, but the Nets, too much talent. I think the Celtics could be given a max contract to a free agent next season, maybe with their money, and maybe they can get finally back up to 2-3 seed. Like they once were a few years ago. But Bucks Hawks, I'm gonna go Hawks in 7, the upset. It's a rematch from last year, but I think Trae Young's going to be just better. I think Trae Young's just going to be better. So that's what's going to give me it. And I think the Bucks, I don't think they can run it back. I don't think there's enough. Like, Giannis is a stud, but I don't think they can run it back. Lakers Warriors, I'm going to go Warriors in 7, the upset. It's going to be a lot of good matchups. You're going to have Curry on Westbrook. And then I would imagine, I don't think Klay would be on LeBron. Forget Klay. I think it would be Wiggins on LeBron, Draymond on AD, and Wiseman guarding the paint for if LeBron or AD cuts to the paint. So I think that's how it would be. And I think the Warriors would just overpower. I think Curry would be dropping threes, and if they double him, toss it off to Klay. If they double Klay, toss it off to Wiggins. Too much offensive talent, and you got to add in that the Warriors got a lot of good defense in that certain lineup, and I think the Warriors will win in 7. Nuggets Clippers, I think the Clippers will get revenge like they did from 2 years ago, and they will win in 6. I think Kawhi's on a revenge short. Paul George is too. They want to win. They want to win bad. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, we got the East. The Nets with the Hawks. I'm going to go Nets in 7. The Nets are too much. They got too much talent. And I would love to see the Hawks win, but I think the Hawks will put up a good fight, but Harden, KD, and Kyrie. And I'm actually going to change that to 6. Because, yeah. So, yeah, Nets in 6 over the Hawks. I just think too much talent on that Nets roster. And then in the West, we got the Clippers and Warriors. I think this will be a battle for the ages, but I got to go Clippers in 7 just because Kawhi and George won't be stopped. I would imagine Klay on George and then Wiggins on Kawhi, but I think the Clippers, Kawhi and George are going to want this a lot. They're going to want it from the past 2 years of losing. They're going to put up. And the Clippers have role players who just do insane in the playoffs. Like Reggie Jackson does great in the playoffs. Terrence Mann did great in the playoffs. So they got a bunch of guys who just show up in the playoffs, and I think the Clippers will win in 7. And then the NBA Finals, Nets, Clippers. I feel bad for Kawhi. Kawhi is one of my favorite players. I like Paul George, but nobody's beating Harden, KD, and Kyrie. I don't predict injuries, so if there's injuries, maybe the Warriors win, maybe the Lakers win, maybe the Clippers win, maybe the Hawks win. But with no injuries, the Nets aren't going to be stopped, and I think the Nets will win in 7. This will be a great series, but the NBA champions, Brooklyn Nets, Finals MVP, Kevin Durant. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think about these predictions. There's the East, there's the West, and then these are the playoffs. You want to take a screenshot. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.